Well, there we are. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning for me. It's Tyra here on Vancouver Island.
And it's Julia here from the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada.
Thanks for joining us today in the spotlight. And just a few things so you understand what's going on. If you've never been with StreamYard, which we're using, you'll see up there on Julia's side a logo. You need to click on that because it will give approval if you want to interact with us during the interview. But we will not, of course, be answering you as we will be interacting with our guests. So a few more things. If you are watching this live on my business page, I also have, by the same name, TN Grow Wealth Together, a YouTube channel, Instagram, Telegram. I want to
Telegram.
Say
It's automatic.
Medias, yeah. You're more than welcome to join me there and subscribe or follow. And Julia.
And the same for me. I have Telegram, Facebook, and a YouTube channel. It's under AJ Internet Solutions. And by all means, subscribe, join, like, whatever you do. That's great. Now, I just wanted to take a moment and introduce our guest today. Today in the spotlight, we have Neil Parkinson from the UK, who has been a founder since November 2018. So he's one of the originals. In the last little while, he's been a leadership team member of the UK and Ireland team, and he's a man with an entrepreneurial spirit. So without further ado, please help us welcome Neil to In the Spotlight. Hi, Neil.
Neil.
Hello. Hi, Julia. Hi, Tyra.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kick off here right away, if you don't mind. Now, we know that you are on the OnPassive Ireland UK leadership team. Can you explain your role to us and what that entails?
Right. Well, it's a group of leaders in the UK and Ireland. We actually, there's about 9 of us there, including Red and Peter Rogers, who you probably know anyway, and yes. Paul Angus, who's on the leadership council generally. So we don't have specific roles as such, but we're all collectively working with first of all, the UK and Ireland in mind, because we feel that the marketplace in the UK and Ireland is relatively untouched, even over 2.5 years down the line. So we're putting some exciting things together that we're looking to work on at the back end of pre-launch, but primarily once we launch, we've quite a few ideas that we'd like to do. We'd even like to get on the road and maybe set up a few meetings in hotels and what have you when we're allowed to do that. Obviously, with the restrictions, that's not possible at the moment.
Right.
So we've got a good cross section of guys. We've throughout the UK, different regions of the UK and Ireland. We have a collective team position for anybody that's looking to join us. And obviously the benefit with that is they get sort of 9 of us helping them build their business and helping them and supporting them. So we've got a lot of things on the go at the moment. I can't divulge too much, of course, but we've done a lot since because we probably set up now probably October time. So we're sort of 3 or 4 months in. We do regular webinars every Monday night, UK time. So we also we do a little bit of work on the we're either a panelist or we even do the hosting, and Red, of course, does the presentation every week. So it's a collective effort. It's good stuff.
Wonderful.
Oh, for sure.
That's great. That's good to hear. Tyra, did you have something to say?
Yes, I was going to now go into something that always has appealed to me since I've heard of OnPassive, is we hear a lot about how if a person comes in as a founding member, we can be active or as passive as we want to. Now, would you mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, well, this is one of the I feel a massive benefit in terms of OnPassive as an opportunity. In other businesses, if you are passive, your opportunity to earn a decent income is very restricted, very limited. In OnPassive, someone can secure their position as a founder, sit and wait patiently until launch. Then it launches, then they can activate their account and the company goes to work for them in terms of generating a customer base. They'll have a website, the traffic is driven to the website, and this customer base is built for them on their behalf. And they're totally passive. They've done that without actually sharing the business at all. And that's on the passive side. Obviously, on the active side, if someone feels that they want to share the business, they're doing a little bit of prep work pre-launch there. They're building their own little customer base in effect. And of course, instead of starting at launch with 0 referrals or 0 team, they've got a little bit of a head start, and they've cut down on that time frame. So if they've got a specific goal in mind, let's say at the end of 6 or 12 months, then they're going to get there a lot quicker if they've done a little bit of prep work and put a little bit of effort into building their business before launch.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So if a person wants to be active, you talked about sharing the opportunity and stuff. Do they have to then figure out how to maybe build a web page or get some kind of links with invites, or is OnPassive supplying everything for them if they choose to be active?
Yes, there are links in the back office that they can send out. I mean, in our team, we sort of give them a little bit extra if they want a landing page, different landing page, and also you can there's enough splash pages out there. If you use little videos, I know Marty's got a few things where there's a couple of videos that you can send out to people. So there's plenty of good information that people can send out for them to do their own due diligence, and together with your link, and they can sign up there. And that's personal choice. I would say about 2/3 of our direct referrals haven't shared the business with anybody.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have 0 referrals. And some of them have been in, like I say, some of them have been in 2 years, and they're just sat patiently waiting for launch, quite happy.
Wow.
And we're still at what, 530,000 plus?
Yeah, I think probably 540,000 at the minute, something like that.
That's only say you're estimating about a quarter of the people sharing. Wow.
Well,
that's interesting.
As far as our business is concerned, because we look at the stats in our business, and like I say, I would say just looking at our direct referrals, I would say 2/3 of them aren't sharing at all.
Well, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much the going rate, really. A lot of people are just sitting and waiting, and I mean, people have jobs and other things, and they're shy and all that. So yeah, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
I think everybody's got a different skill set.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, whilst they're looking for a plan B and they're looking for a supplementary income, they're not necessarily got the time. They've got, family life gets in the way. Perhaps they're not in the slightest bit salesy. So the big attraction with OnPassive is the automated done for you system is a fantastic option for them.
Which is great. Yeah.
You hear that so much, I've seen with other MLMs and affiliates, they say fully automated and stuff. So, that for me raises a question. Okay, we're saying the same. We're saying that it is, but OnPassive isn't an MLM. It isn't an affiliate. It's an actual AI IT company.
Yes.
So when we're saying fully automated, you truly mean that, right?
Yes. Yeah. You're paying the company to do the marketing for you. And in actual fact, you're not doing any of the prospecting, the selling, the closing of the deal, the upselling, the customer support.
The traffic.
It's the full, yeah. The traffic, I mean, there's a lot of talk about the products are excellent. I mean, it's so exciting, but there's a big emphasis on the traffic, really, I think.
Right.
I think we underestimate the power of the targeted traffic and what that will do in terms of getting us customers.
Yes.
Yes. Well, especially if you've been in another company in the past, all about the traffic and the advertising and the marketing and so on and so forth. So it's actually a big plus. And so I'm just going to ask you, I hear you believe OnPassive is the greatest equal opportunity in the world, which is pretty profound. Could you elaborate on that for us a bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of choice out there for people. Anybody that's looking for an online business, the choice is unbelievable. I believe there's something for everyone, really. Like I've touched on before, I think, I think when everything's down to yourself, the success and the failure is very much down. Let's take the future of the particular. Obviously, companies can go bankrupt and something can happen with the owners and this, that, and the other. But generally speaking, there are companies that have been in business for 20, 30, 40 years, but there are still people with those companies that aren't necessarily earning money because of their skill set. Some people are not good at the sales and all the skills that we've just spoken about. Here, I believe it's different. I believe you can have an 18-year-old student that's qualified to the hilt, really passionate about what he wants to do, can't get a job. It's obviously difficult enough to get a job when there isn't a virus doing the rounds, as we know. OnPassive can do a job for that individual. Equally, someone middle-aged, late 40s, early 40s, gets made redundant, takes a massive hit on self-confidence, self-esteem, doesn't know whether anyone's going to take him on again, doesn't know whether he'll remain employable. OnPassive can be a massive boost for that individual. Equally, someone who retires, 70, 75, 80 years of age, and they want to be active, they want something to focus on, a little project that they can work on. OnPassive can do a job for them. And for each of those three examples, it does not discriminate against anyone.
Right.
Anyone can succeed with OnPassive. I believe it's just getting that message out there. And some people still don't get it. We talk about 500,000 founders. How many people have turned it down? Maybe because they don't understand what we've got hold of here. It's there's no doubt about it. I mean, there are people in the business that that aren't engaged. They need to engage, absorb, be a sponge for information. It's all out there,
right?
And it's like you look at a presentation. It's like an iceberg presentation. You only know 20% of its full potential.
Yes.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And also the fact that somebody's retiring, they may want to leave something for their families or friends or some people pets. So it's that's what a lot of people's goals are at this point.
It is. It improves their own financial situation. If they're really successful, maybe even be a bit philanthropic. and work on projects and foundations and causes that are very close to themselves. Maybe they have my father's in a nursing home. He's got vascular dementia mixed with Alzheimer's, and it's sad to watch. It's a slow decline, and I'd like to one of my causes. I'd like to do something on that side from a charity point of view, and everybody's got their own story about who they'd like to help, what they'd like to do, if they're in a position to do that. And I think OnPassive gives them that opportunity.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
Well,
awesome.
That's often what holds people back, is the financial situation. And just going back, you had touched on traffic, and something that really kind of blew me out of the water. I had been in affiliate marketing for 3 years and doing all my own advertising, promoting myself, everything. And it took a pile of money with very, very small results as far as even making money. And something I was reading about OnPassive is the kind of global stimulus that it's going to create. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had done a test to drive traffic, and they didn't set a time frame on it. They didn't do a month or anything. They just put it out to see what would happen, because they're testing things. And in 4 days, I believe it was 250,000 people, they got signed up with emails. Is that correct? Do you recall that number?
I actually heard it was 1 million opt-ins.
Okay.
In 4 days, and that was without using artificial intelligence.
So there you have it. Like that, to think of those numbers, when I think of some of the money that I spent in 3 years without results, and then you hear of this 4 days and 1 million opt-ins. Oh my goodness. Like, could you imagine if you have a small business, like we said, we're not MLM, we're not affiliate, but if you have those types of businesses, you can come in as a founder for $97 and pay that subscription for them to do all the work and then build your business. It's like, oh my goodness, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation. Yeah.
Yes, and we're not reinventing the wheel. That there's a massive customer base out there that they're already paying a company for these types of products. There's a massive,
and we're already using. Yeah, and we're already using. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and we just have to tap into that flow of money. It won't take much to make it.
Right. And even subscription being in the area of $250 or lower. I mean, if you consider what a person pays in advertising monthly to really get stuff out there with your landing pages, if you need a Zoom and email, there's so many things that you have to pay for as a small business, and all of a sudden you can come into OnPassive and everything's inclusive.
Yeah, that's the other side of it, that all of a sudden everything is under one umbrella, so you're not having to go to one company and buy this, like a VPN, to another company to buy Zoom. It's all under one umbrella, one password, so you don't have to remember all these passwords. I mean, to me, it's big. I'm getting older, so I can't remember them all. But yeah, so what do you think about that, Neil?
Yeah, well, it's a one-stop shop, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that has an impact on the cost.
Exactly.
Really, whether you're looking for the whole suite of products or whether you're just looking for 2 or 3. And at the end of the day, people want value for money. They want something that's state of the art and cutting edge, but they're also looking at the cost, aren't they? So if you get that balance right, you'll get customers.
Exactly.
Isn't there also a 7-day free trial for people that come in as customers that want to have a look at it? So even then, you have 7 days that you can go through all the products and see whether it's personal or business, what's going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's going to be very powerful, that, because I mean, let's be honest, you can use a lot of the products in 7 days, can't you? And that's all the products, not just the free ones, them all, and that's going to be, that's going to be very powerful, I believe, anyway.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to see some of the products that we're starting to put out, please go to OnPassive.com, because the company website is really putting out a lot of the products that are coming, and it's just amazing. Like, when you just think of Academy alone, the online learning, it's just mind-boggling what's going to be offered.
Well, it's I mean, in its own right, it's a massive marketplace, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
$200, something like that. In the online learning space, I think $200 billion. It's, if you only had that one product, you could make a big impact. Yeah,
indeed.
Exactly. And here there's 50 plus products,
Yes.
I mean, coming down the pipe. But if you do go to our YouTube pages, we definitely have some videos on that as well. But it's actually quite an interesting concept.
It is amazing. So with that, we brought up the fact about there's founder positions, but you can also be a customer. Now, Neil, do you want to expand a little bit? I was thinking about, okay, are there pros and cons to being a founder as opposed to being a customer? So can you give us a little bit on that?
Yes. A customer, obviously a paying customer, is post-launch. Now, once the company's launched, you can't become a founder anyway.
Right.
A customer will have the chance to upgrade at some point to become a reseller, but a customer can never become a founder.
Right.
A founder is pre-launch.
Right.
And all founders on the date of the launch will become resellers. So a customer can become a reseller, but not a founder. Obviously, the benefits to being a founder as opposed to being a reseller is that you've had the chance to get a head start and build a bit of a customer base and put some groundwork in before the company launches.
Right.
That's, and I've no doubt there'll be probably one or two bonuses and benefits and things for specifically founders.
Right.
In answer to your question about customers and founders, customer can become a reseller but not a founder, and a founder is somebody that has joined before the company launches.
Right. And the founder actually becomes a customer as well as of launch. So that's also an interesting aspect of it.
Yes.
Because you want to use the products yourself, right? To know what you're talking about. And it's kind of nice to be able to be a founder so you can actually beta test these things and see what's going on. Because how can you resell if you don't know what you're talking about? So
it's right. I mean, years ago, I mean, I was in telecoms and what have you, when free local calls was a massive thing 20 years ago. It certainly was in the UK. And the first thing you did was you put yourself on the service. So when you're speaking to customers, you can show them your bill. Because if they ask you, well, are you on the service? And you say no, they'll say, well, why not? If
exactly.
It's why are you not on the service?
Exactly. So that's a bonus to us as founders as well, is that we actually get to use the products and get to see what's coming out, and eventually then comes the reselling and so on and so forth. So yeah, I find that a very interesting aspect.
It is, and even though they're paying for the products, I mean, that's not to say that everybody has to know everything about the products. They don't have to know anything about products, really. Because they're the reseller and everything's been done for them. So they don't have to know anything about the products, and they don't have to know anything about marketing. And that's one of the USPs, isn't it?
Yeah. And we all had to learn somehow how to get into things like Chrome and Microsoft and all the other products out there. We had to learn somehow, right? So it's just a matter of trial and error and using it.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you think then is one of the biggest reasons for someone to become a founder?
Right. Good question.
One of the biggest reasons, well, that's probably down to the individual, really. But I think obviously the chance to cut down timeframes. You mean as opposed to becoming a reseller post launch?
Yeah, like to join as a founder now before we actually launch to the public. Obviously, there are other benefits as compared to a customer. It's like if Google or Amazon opened up founding positions, there's benefits to them as opposed to me going and shopping at Amazon, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's a definite benefit to becoming a founder. You're in an elite group of people there, aren't you? And like I say, we are aware that there will be benefits and things to becoming a founder. You know, maybe we're in a different marketing campaign, or there's going to be something there. Obviously, you've got a head start and the option to build a customer base before the launch, which of course you can't do unless you join as a founder. But the good thing is, of course, it's the choice, isn't it?
Right. Plus, as a founder, you will be getting paid as customers are coming in. That's how you're going to create a wealth base for yourself, or the company will, depending on what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's a massive direct sales operation, really, isn't it? You're basically getting paid on the monthly customer spend, aren't you? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's quite the what I've been finding. Like, I know a few people have called it magical, but I have really found that I've kind of been using the term of brilliant. I mean, what Ash Mufareh, our CEO of OnPassive, has created here is sheer brilliance. It's completely flipped the way business has been done, because at one time it was always the people at the top were making the money off the people at the bottom. And it's not like that anymore.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, and the thing is, I think unless you're on the inside working on the products, and you have no idea really how long these things take. I know there's a general feeling of impatience, isn't there, and what have you, but we have no idea. I mean, unless you're in the kitchen preparing the food, you have no idea, have you, what goes into things and what have you. And they're all set up as different companies, aren't they, with the different products as well. So it's not, you know, when you look at Zoom, for instance, who have 40% of their marketplace. I mean, it's just one product, isn't it? How long did it take to get going? Probably about 4 years, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what's more important to me is it launches at the right time, when everything's set up. You know, a lot of us have been in companies in the past where they rush the launch and then they start fighting fires 6-12 months down the line. And that it can affect confidence and, you know, momentum and things like that. Everything, I think Ash is doing everything absolutely spot on at the moment. And we should be happy that, you know, it will launch when he thinks it's right and proper to launch. And that's fine by me.
Yeah. Well, and I know a few people, when you share this or when they've heard about it, are a bit nervous because right away their first question is, well, how much are you making? And they pull back a bit, finding out that OnPassive hasn't launched to the public yet. And they're not fully seeing the concept of what's going on. In light of that, what would you say to someone? Like if you if you were speaking to someone and sharing this opportunity with them for the first time, what would you say to them?
Well, I would just remind them of the fact of what we just touched on Zoom there, and we just need to make a few comparisons as to how long these things can take to launch.
Right.
Well, you know, it is difficult. Some belief and faith, and what have you got to have? You've got to have some belief in what's happening as well. You know, and you've got to have a little bit of. You've got to be visionaries, haven't you? I mean, when we joined, there was very little to go at the end of 2018. Some of the information that's around now and the presentations are phenomenal, really.
Right.
There's more than enough information there to do some due diligence on. I think that OnPassive will work for tens of thousands of people, and new people looking at the business just have to decide whether they want it to work for them.
Exactly.
It's all about you've got to make a judgment at the end of the day. Yes, we can't talk about income, you know, but I think we just have to learn about what's going on here and understand the marketplace, not just the number of users, internet users and people that are in the marketplace, but understand that we've not just got one product, we've got 50. There's going to be a vast amount of people that are going to be using at least one product. At least one product.
Yeah.
And I also think we need to get over the today of instant gratification. You need to do things right the first time versus, you know, over and over and over. It's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So it's definitely, we got to get out of that mindset and think that Ash is doing the right thing, making sure that this company is for the long haul.
That's right.
And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And, you know, none of us are getting any younger. Some of us have been around the block a few times and experienced the bad and the ugly.
Exactly.
You know? And I think people do perhaps dwell a little bit too much on the past and live in the past a little bit. And yes,
absolutely,
learn from your past experiences and learn from your mistakes, for sure.
Indeed.
But there's a saying, isn't there? You know, your past should be a point of reference and not a place of residence.
Well,
and there's
I like that.
I believe there's a lot of truth in that.
Yes. Well, Neil, I just think that is a perfect final quote to use. That really summed it up, because if you see OnPassive as valuable, you're catching the vision before it's gone public. So that just ties perfectly. So Neil, thank you very much joining us from the UK, taking the time out. We sure appreciate talking to you. That was wonderful.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Neil.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Okay. And you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Well, you can't even go past a better quote to end this.
No kidding. Yeah, it was very profound. Yeah, and you know, I know that he has a lot of years of profound stuff in his little box there. So yeah, he's quite the intellect, which is more my style. So it's actually quite interesting to listen from a different perspective. So thank you, Neil.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing with OnPassive, because it's not launched out to the public yet, we are looking for visionaries. You know, so if anybody watching this during the live or after on the replay or wherever we've shared it, you know, reach out to any of us, Neil, myself, Julia. You know, we would be more than happy to explain things to you more. And as Neil said earlier, do your due diligence. There are so many places to go and look and find out about OnPassive. As far as being a founder, you have to have an invitation to come in to become a founder. But yeah, like we said earlier, what was it? OnPassive.com is our company website. So go ahead And
And
check.
whoever invited you to this in the Spotlight segment, by all means, please, this is integrity. Please go back to the person who invited you and talk to them. Get the information you need to get. Do the due diligence, and hopefully we'll see you on board at some point.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And we will talk again soon in the Spotlight with Tyra and Julia.
Bye for now. Take care.